Thinking about competing next summer, what tips, advice would you recommend during off season and how to transition into prep? And this is from _7Cs_. Number one thing is to realize that competing isn't going to make you happy with your body. It's actually going to make you critique it even more. You need to really be careful to see where your headspace is at before you go into prep. Wherever you are at right now, you need to feel okay and feel comfortable and love yourself no matter what. You need to realize that the way your body looks doesn't define who you are as a person. You need to realize that if you are going into prep, you need to be responsible enough to show your loved ones that you care for them still and you're not going to lash out on them, and you're going to have your days. You're going to have your days where you don't want to talk to anyone and you are just so grumpy. You need to not let that affect your relationships. You need to stay strong and positive and not let prep rule your mentality, because it can do that. I've seen so many relationships fail because of prepping, and I don't think that is any way to live. So if you can handle it and if you can still maintain these relationships that you have around you and still have somewhat of a good quality of life, then this sport is for you. If you go into it and realize you're thinking very negatively about yourself, you're lashing out on others, and you just aren't really enjoying it, then maybe this process isn't for you. I just want to make sure that anyone that approaches me that wants to do prep, I just want to be responsible and tell you like the real deal of it. I want you to be aware of what happens, and I want you guys to be strong. I want you guys to be strong mentally and physically, and if I know you can do it, I mean, if I can do it, you can do it. So that's my thing on starting prep. Also make sure your calories they get up to a high point so that when you start cutting, you can decrease rather than starting from a low point and decreasing from there. And make sure your cardio is low when you start too. Current workout split: glutes and hams twice a week, shoulders and chest and core twice a week, back and arms once a week. That's from Christy Lottie, who is one of Steve's clients. Hello. Bikini Andrea, how do you compete with doping and NPC? Do you see a lot of it? Why did you choose NPC/IFBB over other federations? I didn't realize people were taking drugs until like this past year because someone made me aware of it. I'm just in shock a little bit. Here's the thing. These coaches throw these drugs at these girls who don't need it. It's not needed to get to where they're at. And they just end up with terrible side effects after the competition. It's just not good for most people. So I didn't realize that I was actually going up against most people taking drugs, and I'm not saying that everyone in the NPC IFBB takes drugs. I'm saying that I didn't really realize how many people did, which, I mean, it can either be discouraging or it can be motivation, because I got to where I was without taking anything, and to me I feel like that is just getting to where I am now without taking anything. Is like I didn't take the easy way out. I don't know what the right word for it, it's not coming to my mind, but to me I feel like that is, it's not cheating, like it kind of is not fair, because a physique can look completely different on something than not on something. So I'm happy to where I've gotten without, and we'll see how far I get in the IFBB without taking anything. And that is that. That's how I feel about that subject. With training clients online and by keeping in touch with them via email, would you say it's more or less time consuming than training the clients in person at a gym? From Daniela_Ashley Rose. So I used to be a trainer in a gym, Purdue, Co-Rec, and FitFlexFi. Comparing the two, online I give them their macros, their cardio, and most every time their training program. When I train someone in person, they're just getting the training, and that's like 30 minutes to an hour twice a week. So I was finding in the gym they weren't getting the results that my online clients would get. And I don't know if it's because my in-person clients would be like, yeah, I'm seeing my trainer tomorrow, let's go out and get something because I'm gonna burn it off tomorrow. Maybe it's not like an everyday thing, whereas my online clients, they're being held accountable every single day. So I feel like my online clients were getting a lot more success. That's why I only do online, and I didn't necessarily love the in-person training like I do the online. But I would say in-person is more time-consuming for sure, because you have to drive there, you have to set up, then you have to train them, and then you have to, you know, take down everything and then go back home. So that's a lot more time-consuming, I think. _HLD_, what does Colorado have that Indiana lacks? Colorado is a lot more chill people. It's a lot less conservative, and I think my conversations with people out there are a little bit more in-depth than people in Indiana. Hi, Zoe. Hi. Come here. She wants my attention. And I think that Colorado is a very, like, people are very creative there. It's obviously beautiful. The weather's beautiful. Even, like, the housing is, it feels like, even though it's the same price as here, they use more expensive products. So, like, the houses there are a little bit, like, more high quality. Just like the food out there is better. I do like Indiana, like I like where I live. There's positives to everything, but obviously my home is Colorado and I do miss it a lot. How can I be a Gymshark ambassador? Captain_crunches_pro. How I became with Gymshark was a year and a half ago. They DM'd me asking if I'd want some clothing to try it out, and then from there we created a relationship, and I had been an affiliate until I think this past month or two I became an athlete. This is from Marani. You'll do Ellie. Sorry, I did not say that right. Why did you move from Colorado? In 09, my dad had a bunch of dealerships, car dealerships, and he built like 5 of them from the ground up in Windsor, Colorado. It was called Iron Mountain Autoplex. We put everything we had into our dealership. GM and Chrysler ended up going down, bankrupt, and they chose dealerships all around the country to put out, and unfortunately we did not have the funding to continue to make it run. And Zoe, goodness gracious, unfortunately we did not have the funding to make it run, so we lost everything. Our cars, our business, our house, literally everything, bankrupt. The cops were like looking for my dad, like we were getting death threats, like it was just a crazy situation. So we had to leave and go somewhere and move. So that's why we've been constantly moving for the past 6-8 years. But yeah, that's why I don't live in Colorado anymore. Moved there. I lived there when I was 17, or like until I was 17, and then moved around. I should probably tell my story again sometime soon. Biggest difference being married, from Shelb_Russell. Obviously, Steve and I have been together for 6 years, and we lived together for a year before marriage. And I would say the biggest difference is, like, for me personally, I think of situations together as one rather than separately. So if I am making a meal, I am more likely to make something for him too. If I'm out shopping, go to the grocery store, I'll get something for him like that. If he's not feeling good, I'll grab like some Vicks and like Advil or something like that. So I'm like thinking of him, like thinking of us together rather than separately. And obviously we are our own people, but I think just like doing life a little bit more together, like taking that extra step, has been definitely the biggest change in our relationship. Zoe, come here. And yeah, I would say just like a little bit more lately, we've put Christ in the center of our relationship, and so our relationship has actually gotten like better. Our marriage has gotten better, even though it's been like 2 months, but I can just say like that's the biggest difference for me personally. Laura Jelaine, when do you and Steve want to have kids? And how many? And can I babysit? Yes, you can babysit. Please, I need you. And we're having kids. I don't know, because Steve has 3 years of med school left, 2 years residency, 1 year internship. So probably not for a while, but we do want to have kids. He wants to have like 20. I want to have like 2. But I also like the fact of having like a big family when you go home. Like, my family is pretty big, his family is pretty big, so like going home is a huge thing, and it's like super fun and wild, and like everyone's just like crazy, and like I just love that. And like when my siblings get older, vacations are gonna be super fun because we can all drink together and have a good time together, and that's kind of part of like having a bigger family is growing on me, because I know he wants to have a big family. But yeah, kids not for a while, until we're like 28, 29, because like then he's gonna get done with med school, and we kind of want to have our life too, you know, so not for a while. What ab workout regimen do you recommend for women? My ab workouts, like my movements are sprinkled like within my like upper body days, so I'll choose like 2 movements and do 3 to 4 sets of them, and then I'll do it like somewhere in my lift somewhere. And I think like one of the best exercises you can do for core is hanging leg raises. I think they're the worst, right? Like they hurt so bad, and they're like the most terrible thing, but they're so good for your overall core. They build strength, they help lean it out. They're just so good. So I would say hanging leg raises, and then any sort of like, I really like cable crunches. I notice a huge difference in my upper core when I do cable crunches, so I would recommend those 2 are like my faves. Alright, this is from Kim, and she's asking, so carbs and fats, or carbs and proteins have the same amount of calories per gram, so 4. And she's asking, when trying to cut, she either cuts down protein or cuts down carbs. And I would recommend to cut down carbs, because protein is going to help you not lose that muscle mass, and it's also going to help you feel full. _ Steffi Ren _ she's been following me since my early bikini prep days. Hello. Yes, I totally recognize your name. While cutting, she wants to know, how do I cut? Like, how do you cut when you have a sweet tooth? I would say pick things that are low in calories that you can munch on. I really like to do 0-calorie soda pop, and I like to find like little sweet things, so maybe even making like something sweet, so egg whites, trivia, cinnamon, like making your egg whites sweet or making your sweet potatoes sweet, something like that. Each meal, try and have like a little sweet thing in each meal. That definitely helps me. This is from Solilo Koi of Chaos. Kai of Chaos. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to say your name. So I cut out dairy. She notices that I still take whey supplement. So I take whey, but it's very, very, very minimal. So I use it to just like put in my oats or my cream of rice or my pumpkin, and that's like about it. So I don't really notice too bad of a digestion issue or skin issue with that, because it's so minimal. So I do sort of eat dairy, just like very, very minimal amounts. Not like I used to. I actually do have a fat loss program. It's on my app, Fitness by T. Jackie _P, when is the next time you're coming to Canada? I've been to Canada once, Victoria, Canada. That was 2009 or 2010. I may be doing Toronto Pro in May or June. We're gonna see how my body responds at the start of prep in January, and if it responds well, I'm doing that show. So I will be in Toronto probably in May or June. Body fat percentage, I like to stay around during off season. I don't track my body fat percentage. That's not conducive to my goals. We go based off of how I look, and kind of by the scale a little bit, like when I'm on prep. But I'll probably stay around like 125 this off season, and I'm 119 right now, 118. So we don't want to get too much body fat, because that can actually, you have to like go pretty hard to get that off in the end, and in that you can lose muscle mass. So might as well stay pretty lean while getting that lean mass, so that you don't have to go as hard in the end to take off that body fat. Lisa Venice, how do you and Steve deal with the jealousy factor of all these hot people commenting on all of y'all's posts. So Steve is not a very jealous person, and neither am I. I don't, like, if someone comments something on Steve's page, I don't think twice about it. We both know we're in a very committed relationship, and we both reassure each other that, so but I guess we don't really think twice about it, like, at all. Even with the nasty pictures I get in my DMs. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Why did I choose Purdue? Well, I didn't get into Purdue for about a year. It took me like 4 tries, and they were like, finally, all right, just let this girl in. But no, really, I really liked Purdue. I visited Steve from Indiana State. I went to Indiana State, he went to Purdue. I visited him a lot, like every weekend. I ended up falling in love with it. Just like the atmosphere, and I don't know, it challenged me, and I wanted to be challenged in terms of schoolwork, so that's kind of why I chose Purdue. It's also a very prestigious school. So I proved myself that I could graduate from Purdue University when I didn't think I was even gonna go to college when I was in high school. So that was a very, very, very huge thing for me. Huge thing for me. I'll do a whole college topic video here soon. What did you do to get sponsored by different companies or brands? I think I was approached by Gymshark and Bite Meals, and I had wanted to be a part of Isotori for like a year or so because I'd always taken their products and I loved them. So they didn't let me on for like a year or so, and bodybuilding I tried out for the spokesmodel, so that's how I got into that. How did you transition from clean eating to flexible dieting? I kind of struggled with that aspect of just because it's not like healthy for you, it's not going to make you fat. In reality, it's like calories in versus calories out. I do thoroughly believe in healthy foods over processed foods, but I do believe in being flexible, and I believe in balance because that's a great way to live. I don't really believe in constricting yourself to just only plant foods that you have to eat because the earth made it or something like that. For me personally, because that doesn't allow flexibility in my lifestyle, and I really like food. I'm a foodie, so I love the flexible dieting lifestyle. It works for me, and I struggled with it at first. I did, because I had clean eaten for so long, but you kind of get over it once you see that, hey, I'm not getting fat because I'm eating Pop-Tart, you know what I mean? So I think just like physically seeing it in front of your eyes is what I had to go through. A lot of you are asking how to find a coach that's right for you. Let me know if you want to see a video on that, because I can talk about that for a while. New York or Chicago pizza? I like New York. Definitely New York. I don't like the crusty thin crust, but I like a thinner crust, like mellow mushroom kind of thing. Oh yeah. Have you ever transitioned or thought about transitioning to plant-based? I have, and I tried it in high school. It didn't fill me up like meat does, and I think that it would be very hard for me personally to do that. I really do like meat, but I have cut back on it a lot. Like, I probably only eat meat once a day right now, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because my protein's so low because I have such high carbs. The carbs, like the trace amount of protein in carbs, are hitting my protein, so I'm only eating chicken like once a day, but I don't think I could fully commit to a plant-based diet. Not that I think anything's wrong with that. I think that there are definitely pros and cons to both meat eaters and vegan vegetarian. I follow a macro diet, but it's not necessarily like full-blown processed foods. It's I would say 80% clean foods, 20% processed foods. I am 5'5" and 24 years old. I don't take anything to make my hair long. It just grows. Like, I've always been one, like, my nails grow really fast, my hair grows really fast. I would love to visit South Africa. My best friend Oshvi's from Johannesburg or something like that. I forgot, but she's from South Africa. It takes her like a whole day to get there. Eating more and more carbs, how do you keep fiber under control? That's a tricky one. Your body will definitely adjust because that's just something you can't really control. So if you're eating 40 to 50 grams and your digestion's still Gucci, then you don't need to worry about it. Why do we wear flat shoes on leg day? That is to help stability. If you have shoes that are like curvy and make you wobble, and you probably want to switch to a more flat shoe to help with stability. And also help you not get back problems. Who do you watch on YouTube? I really like Jess and Gabriel. They're so cute. They're this little married couple in LA. And I just love them. They're very, very strong Christians, and I think that their channel is very sweet and entertaining without being like too dirty or too dramatic, or, you know, I like that. And I like to watch people that are not in the fitness industry, and I actually don't watch a lot of YouTubers because when I do, I tend to get like influenced by them. So I kind of make my content based off of what I see, like subconsciously sometimes. So that's why I like stopped watching a lot of YouTube channels, like fitness channels specifically. When doing shoulder workout, how do you keep your neck muscles from hurting or aching? So that must be you're doing this while doing raises. Keep your shoulders down and back, and then do the raises, or make sure your shoulders are always down. That way your traps don't get activated. And Lady Fit, Bernice. Yes, that kid question already been answered. All my supplements I take from Isotori, like BCAAs and a little bit of protein powder and pre-workout and stuff like that. But my camera's gonna die, so I need to go, and I just want to say thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for submitting your questions onto my Instagram. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see next. I'm thinking of doing like a workout video, getting a videographer to record me, all of that good stuff. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please, please hit subscribe. If you like this content, also give it a thumbs up. And I will see you in the next one. Peace out.